Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the channel for Spiritualism New Zealand. My name is Kim Chamberlain, and this is one of our mini seminar series. And today I have the great pleasure of being able to interview Schamet Horsfield, who is from the US and has been living in New Zealand, now based in Wellington, for the last 24 years, and calls herself an Amerikiwi. Welcome, Schamet. It's really good to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kim, for having me.
So today's topic is very interesting. It's called Transforming Wounds to Wisdom and Wisdom to Superpowers. So I don't know what it's about yet, but I'm absolutely fascinated. So can you explain this to us, the wounds to wisdom to superpowers?
Yes, I can. I just love superheroes so much, and especially when they're a little bit flawed and kind of human as well. Um, I've always related to Wonder Woman and Superman, like the original, the
Wow.
crystal
Yeah,
cave
yeah.
and having a purpose and a mission while you're here on the planet, which Superman and Wonder Woman, the original,
Mm.
did. Like they had a calling, they had a mission. They were here to make the world a better place and to help people. And then they had these like amazing superpowers, and they had to kind of go in disguise, and kind of, be this person by day, and then they had these capes, and I was mesmerized as a young person and thought, wow, that's my path. I'm a superhero. I'm here to make the world a better place. And like Wonder Woman in her crystal caverns and the priestesses and the goddesses, and I felt such a resonance as a little girl. I thought, well, that's me. That's my path. That's why I'm here. I've come from somewhere else, and I'm here to make the world a better place. And I'm here to bring my superpowers to the world. And so I was just a little girl, thinking that. And it's so true. So my tagline for my business, my soul business, and the work that I do has been transforming your wounds to your wisdom, to your superpowers for around 7 years. I think I took a little mini like businessy thing online, and we had to come up with one sentence that explained who we were and what we did, like an elevator pitch kind of thing. And that's what came through. And it describes the work that I do with my clients. It it holds the frequency and the magic and the purpose of what I do and who I am. And I've loved it so much that I've now created an Oracle deck with the name, and I've trademarked it and copyrighted it. And it's like, what people say, my brand, but it's just like it describes who I am and what I do in a nutshell. And it also has to do with the experience that I've had on planet Earth. That has been the process that I've gone through. I have been and still continue to transform the wounds that I have, whether it be the worthiness wound, the betrayal wound, the witch wound. There's so many wounds that hold us back and can get in the way of us living our most abundant life, the life of our wildest dreams. And so my belief, because this has been my experience with myself and my clients, is that when we can kind of do a mindset reset around the wounds that we have, and instead of looking at them as a hindrance and something to hide or something to fear or something to push under the rug, we can actually just hold space for them. They become these portals to our power.
Mm.
And I really believe that. If you look at a lot of very successful people in the world, like Tony Robbins, what he did, he had some big wounds. He had a very similar story to mine. He left home at 15. I did too.
Mm.
And then he healed those wounds. He transformed them. And because of them, and he openly talks about this, because of them, that's why he is who he is and does what he does. Is he says his mom taught him about psychology through his wounds. And that's been my experience as well, is the wounds can become a portal to our power and our transformation. And it realigns them to a position of being able to alchemize them into our wisdom. And then once we've done that, say it's the witch wound, which is, that's a big topic, and I could talk the whole hour about that one, but it is poignant, and especially with Halloween coming up. In America, if you are called a witch, it's a really bad thing. It was. And, it's still in our psyche on some level. It's much better here in New Zealand and Europe. But in America, it was that's a real, if you're called a witch, it's bad. It's really bad. And I mean, people were killed for it, right? So it's still in the collective psyche. And it is my opinion of why people fear their psychic abilities, fear their intuition, because they don't want to be deemed as crazy. They don't want to get locked away. They don't want to be removed from society. They don't want to be shamed, harassed, put into the fringe of being too woo-woo or too, what I'm saying here. And so if you look at that wound, which this has been my story of awakening and my whole journey and process, is because I was called a witch, because I am very spiritual and I'm very wise, because really to me, the witch is the wise woman, right? Or the wise man. It's the wisdom, it's the intuition. And but I was called a witch, and I was 20. How old was I? 21. I had a premonition that my father died, and I was Christian. I went to church 3 times a week. And being a Christian in America, that is it's a thing. And I mistakenly told my aunt what happened, because I had this premonition that my dad died, and then he died the next day. And I told her, and she said, "Well, you must be a witch." And I mean, I was a good Christian girl. I just had a premonition that my dad died, then he died, and now I'm a witch. And the pain that I went through was so, it almost took me out. Thank goddess I have guides that look over me and out for me. I had another, intuition. This business card was being handed to me. And it was like it was being handed to me in slow motion in my dream. And then it happened the next day. And this beautiful woman, goddess, was handing me the card. She says, "I think you need to go and see this person." And I went, "Oh my God, I just dreamt about this card." Like, exactly. And she goes, "Well, I think you're meant to go and see her." Well, she was a clairvoyant psychic, and she helped me so much. She's like, "Oh, honey, you are not a witch. Your aunt just doesn't understand your powers. You're a clairvoyant psychic. You've got gifts, darling, and it's okay. You're okay. You had a premonition. It's so good that you had a premonition dream, because it made you call your dad, and you had an hour-long conversation with him that you wouldn't have had. And so you had that closure with him because you listened to your intuition and your abilities, and I'm going to help you with this." And she just took me right under her wing. And oh, wow. Yeah. So this was my portal to my power, was the pain, the betrayal, the hurt of being told something is wrong with you and it's your fault, right? That's what I gathered from being called a witch. Something's wrong with me. It's all my fault. I'm some sort of evil witch. And then the clairvoyant psychic's like, "Darling, you are not. You have superpowers. Let me help you." And that was my spiritual awakening journey. It really just completely woke me up. And so then I moved into my wisdom. And in that wisdom of knowing who you are, you can then transform that wisdom into your superpowers, because now I help people that are in fear of their abilities and help them decode them and help them know what clairvoyant abilities they have and get crystal clear on who they are and why they're here on the planet. So that's just an example of, how we can transform those wounds to our wisdom, and then our wisdom to our superpowers. And, some of them take a little bit longer, but the main thing is not to spiritual bypass our wounds, because what we resist persists, and the universe will kick our butt and keep on helping us figure out what they are until we really understand. And so my purpose, my life path purpose, is to help people with deep trauma and wounds, to understand that their power is sitting in the shadows, is sitting in the wounds. And it's so exciting, and it's so different than what we have, conventionally been taught. Conventionally we've been taught that, oh, there's something wrong with us, we must fix ourselves. And there's a lot of shaming that goes on with the labeling, in my opinion. I'm also a psychology major, and I've been studying psychology. And although I love psychology, there is also a lot of not so good things about it that has happened in history too. So I'm here to redefine psychology as well, and do more of positive psychology, which is focusing on, how can we transform our pain to our power, to our passionate purpose? How can we work with those wounds and the shadows, and not necessarily fix them, but listen to them? What do they have to say? What's sitting there in the shadow or the wound that needs a hug, that needs some love, that needs to be heard, instead of pushed down and pushed away and labeled? So yeah, there's a lot there.
I can imagine we could probably talk about that for ages. So tell us then about your oracle decks.
Yeah. Okay. So, Wounds to Wisdom is, I feel like I've given birth to twins, but they're fraternal twins, because I've done two at once. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I know I was told to only do one at a time, but look, if you are pregnant with twins,
Yeah,
you can't say to the other
exactly.
twin, oh no, you can't
Wait a
come
minute.
right now. No, you just give birth. So they're not identical, they're fraternal, which is amazing, because my sister actually gave birth to actual fraternal twins, and they
Right.
were born on my birthday, and they're now
Oh, wow.
5. So there's a little bit of like an analogy going here. I think it runs in our family to have twins. And so I didn't give birth to actual twins, but these are my twins.
Oracle deck
And
twins.
Wounds to Wisdom Oracle is so special. There's an owl on there because I love owls, a symbol of wisdom. And this is the prototype here. I really love beauty. Part of what the brand of magic I have to bring to the world is beauty. So I've made them just as beautiful as possible with all the gold embossing. And then it says, turn your pain to power to passionate purpose, transform wounds to wisdom, wisdom to superpowers on the inside. And I really wanted to go from dark to light. So the cards are dark, like the shadow, like the wounds. I wanted it to be dark, because I think it's in the spiritual community, we have a tendency to spiritually bypass and want to focus on the positive and the light. But it's really important that we pay attention to the shadow and the darkness too. I'm a light worker, but I'm also like a shadow worker, because like
Yeah.
what's sitting in the shadow, what's sitting in our blind spot, so that we can then transform it to light. So you'll see let me just take the cards out. They're so beautiful. I'm so excited and happy about them. So you see it goes into the light. So
Oh, yeah.
she's phoenixing. Which phoenixing is, the sacred bird, the phoenix, about transforming our wounds, our limitations into the light, that symbol of being burned away, and then you transform and rise up out of the ashes. And so that's what these cards do. It helps with that process. So yeah. And then this is the book. Now, unlike most Oracle decks, you don't just get a little tiny pamphlet, you
Mm-hmm.
get a book.
Oh,
Like it's
wow.
an actual book. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
substantial. So it has journaling questions. It has the wound, the wisdom, the transformation, the superpower. I really wanted it to be a spiritual and emotional guidebook to support the spiritual awakening journey, the emotional and spiritual intelligence journey, and really help people where they are so they can go in and go, oh yeah, really having issues with my mom. I think I have a mother wound. And then you can read about the mother wound.
All
And to
right.
tell you what, there's so much magic in these cards. I channeled them. I've done a lot of mind, body, spirit events recently, and every reading that I do with them is just spot on. Like to the point where I'm doing a reading and where this woman starts talking about her mom and the issues and things like that. And I looked at the future card and I thought, I think it's going to be the mother wound card. I just thought that. And then I pulled it over and boom, it was the mother
Yeah.
wound. And she just teared up. She goes, oh my God, this reading is spot on. And, I prayed, I meditated, I channeled. I was getting up at 4 in the morning and going to bed at midnight, working on these with so much passion. Tell you what, Kim, I would lay my head down on the pillow at night and I was already looking forward to getting up and working on these decks. Like I just had to create them.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of soul path purpose work. And yeah, I'm really proud of myself to bring it to fruition like this, but in a way, it's like I could not do it.
I understand that. Yeah. Yeah. And so the other card deck is what?
Oh, okay. And the other one, so this one is, by the way, very much emotional and spiritual wounds and transforming positive psychology, bringing in the spirituality, the metaphysics, and really helping people heal. So this is very much about transformation. You see all the butterflies. There's butterflies everywhere. And just one more thing about this is I had a really well-meaning friend say, maybe you're overdoing it with the butterflies. There's a lot of butterflies on there because there is a lot of butterflies.
Hmm.
And I thought about it. I've got friends that I love and adore, and I have a huge amount of respect for her. But then I had butterflies visit me for 3 days straight. I had one in my kitchen. I had one sitting on the pavement that looked just like this one. And to me now, I'm like, oh my gosh, this kind of looks like pavement. So I thought, this is an omen. I have to keep the butterflies in. And then I
Yeah.
put more butterflies in because it's about transformation. It's about metamorphosis. And so, whoever's listening right now, if you're having a really hard time in life and you need some support, because Oracle cards have always been my lifeline and my support, especially when I was young and I was too afraid to go and get help or see a counselor or see a coach. Oracle decks became my counselor. They
Wow.
became my coach. They became my mentors. And so that's what this is. It's a lifeline of support. And that's why I created it, because let's face it, a lot of people are having a really hard time right now. It's we're in a spiritual awakening journey and it's not always easy. I mean, look at the caterpillar, what it goes through when it becomes a
Hmm.
butterfly. Its whole body gets melted. So the transformation journey, the metamorphosis journey can be really painful. And before I jump gears to the other deck, that was one of the things Kim and I talked about this right before coming on, that my spirit guides are telling me to say. For those of you that are listening right now, Spirit wants you to know that it's okay to be in the cocoon and you don't always need to be the butterfly. The butterfly actually only lives for a few days anyways. It spends longer in the cocoon. It spends longer in the metamorphosis. And I think we're socially conditioned to believe that we always have to be the butterfly, especially if we are moms, we're coaches, we're teachers, we're supporting people. We just want to be, and I know this goes for me too. I always want to be the butterfly. I mean, who doesn't want to be the butterfly? But I feel like it's really important that we honor our time, our energy, and being in that cocoon is where we can go in and recharge our batteries. And so, of course, when we have to butterfly out because we have jobs and we have clients and we have children and families that need us to be on, right? But Spirit is telling me to remind you to take the time that you need, putting up your sacred boundaries and giving yourself the time to go inward and have that cocoon time so that you can then be the butterfly. And then remembering that you need a bit more time in the cocoon than you need so you can be that butterfly. And that's been huge medicine for me in the last few years. I have been in an academic cocoon. And now the universe is like, okay, Schamet, you need to butterfly back out. And so I'm butterflying back out, but I'm very aware and mindful that when I do that, I need to do it in short bursts and then go back in and regenerate. And whatever that is for you, whether it's just pulling the blanket up over your head and just resting. And that's become a mindfulness practice for me, actually. And I give credit to Vishen from Mind Valley. He talks about how he does that sleeping and napping is not a sign of laziness. It's actually a sign of personal power and self-care. And so taking day naps, I sometimes take a day nap now, just a half an hour, just a real power nap. And sometimes I don't fall asleep. I set my alarm and I just lie there and I do some healing work on myself, one hand on my heart, one hand on my belly. And I breathe. And I just take that time. I take that time to sit with myself. For those of you that don't meditate, this could be a really beautiful practice of just lying there. I put a pillow under my knees and I just rest. And then you can go back to whatever you were wanting to do with so much more clarity, so much more energy, so much more passionate purpose. It's extraordinary how beautiful that practice has become for me. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because for those of you that are go-getters and are out there moving and shaking in the world, and so for me, I'm a last lifer and I have a lot to do. And so I'm very driven, but we need to make sure that we keep charging our batteries so that we can stay on purpose, right? And not burn out. So that was just really coming really loud and clear today. Is that helpful, Kim?
Very. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you wanted me to show you the other one. This is Awaken the Oracle Within. And this is based on a 7-week training I do. So it's intuition, clairvoyant abilities, psychic superpowers, and because of my own personal witch wound that I went through, this is to help support people that go, I don't know why I am hearing voices. Some people are afraid that they might be crazy or there might be something wrong with them. And I mean, in the spiritual community, Kim, of course, we all know that we have these abilities. The people that are just waking up and they don't know what it means, they can, push it down or avoid it or be shameful about it. And so this is to support the spiritual awakening journey. It's also for seasoned practitioners that want to work with the cards and help their clients. I actually read from both cards together and they complement each other really, really well because this one is this one's about the healing and the transformation. And then this one's really stepping into your psychic superpowers. And we've got Island Bay on the back because I live in Island Bay. So in the deck, my animals are in there. Some of my friends and soul clients are in there. The artwork, I take the artwork and then I digitize it. So all the owls in there are real owls and real animals and real people that I then digitize. And I had so much fun doing the art. It was just, I call myself the archetype of the art. And I also wrote and illustrated a children's picture book called Own Baby, Child of the Universe. And what I did with that one is I drew all the pictures when my baby was sleeping. And then I took them and I put them into the computer and then I digitized them. So that's kind of my process of yeah, it brings another element of kind of fantasy and whimsical kind of energy to it. I love the angel on the front. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And I have the clamshell opening because that's what I really wanted. And these cards and decks have all bells and all whistles. I didn't make any shortcuts. Like they were expensive to make, but I wanted to be really proud of them. So you got all the guides surrounding you, as I wanted guides to be supporting you in your journey. And then I love blue and gold on this one because I had past lives in Egypt. So the blue and the gold is very kind of Egyptian. And the cards come out. Again, you go from that darkness to light. And I've got the gold.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got the gold on the edges too, because gold is a very high frequency. Yeah. So, yeah. Did you want to ask me some more questions?
I would love to. This is a mini seminar, so we can't go too much longer, but I'm just going to ask, will you pull us a card then?
What is it?
Can you pull a card for us?
I sure can. I was hoping you would ask me that, actually. I love doing readings. It's one of my most favorite things to do in the world. And when I do them, it's not work for me. It's so much fun. I love helping people. All right. So everyone that's listening, and Kim, just put your energy into the cards. And I'm going to feel into the energy of what people are needing right now. Do you want me to pick one from each deck?
Yes, please. That would be good.
Yeah. And those that you are listening, energy is, Einstein says, everything is energy, and that is that. So even though you're listening to this now and it's, recorded and it's online, everything is energy. There's no separation here. So it's very quantum. So you'll get exactly what you need. I'm a firm believer in that. My shawl is wanting to come off, so I'm just going to take it off. I'm getting a little hot too because I get a little warm when I do readings. Feel the energy. Oh, I'm having so much fun, Kim. Thank you. Okay, what does everyone need to hear today? Okay, great. Oh, okay. For the wound, we've got the persecution wound. I love this card. Now, when I created these cards, I wanted them to be a little bit like the tarot in the sense, I mean, they're not tarot, but in the sense that they're not just airy-fairy, beautiful and light. I wanted to go into the darkness. I wanted to, and I was being called, not just want, but like being called, being told by my guides that especially the spiritual community needs to address the shadowy aspects of our journey in order to truly heal. And so that does mean looking into the more uncomfortable, unpleasant, unsavory parts of who we are, because it needs to be talked about. It needs to be addressed. Otherwise, we can't heal what we don't feel, right? And it doesn't mean to focus on it, but to just be aware, like the persecution wound, in the sense of the witch wound, it's not exactly the same. That's why there's two cards. There's a witch wound card in the deck, and then there's the persecution wound. But you see here the arrows being shot at her heart. And all of the cards came from my own personal experience. I remember having some very, very close relationships in my heart that turned against me because of their different beliefs. And, you know, with the pandemic and all the stuff that's been going on in the world, I think this is very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt so bad. I really felt like the arrows were going into my heart. The, you know, and the crows coming out. Crows are change.
Mm.
Um, but you can see that she's, even though she's in pain, she's also surrendering to it. And she's sitting on her priestess kind of goddess throne as well. And then the crow that's at the heart, you know, that in America, the crows, where I'm from, you know, the crows mean change. They're omens. They've come to me as omens of change. And so even though she's got all these arrows shot into her heart, and it's painful, because persecution is painful, it really hurts. So how can we honor? And you see she's sitting back. She's not fighting it. She's not grimacing. She's just surrendering to, okay, this is where I am right now. It's acknowledging, okay, I've been hurt. And it's acknowledging that even though we know intellectually that it's not personal, that it's almost always somebody else's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as empaths and healers, even though we know that it's not our stuff, even though we know that it's other people's stuff, it still hurts. And so,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it still penetrates because we feel everything. You know, if you're an empath, you feel everything. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
about blocking that. It's about going, okay, I have just been shot in the heart. Ouch. And then what's to come from that? And my personal story on my persecution wound, every time it has happened, it has it has been a portal
Mm.
to, you know, my passionate purpose.
Yeah.
You know, that particular one, ouch, that happened, it was more than 5 years ago, but it ended up being such a huge portal to me quantum jumping into my own transformational journey. It was such an important part of the journey. So if you're listening to this and you have had somebody, you know, hurt you and it hurts and you're in this persecution wound and you may still be sitting in it, know that it is a portal to your power and you will get through this. And do you want me to read the actual description in the booklet,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
yeah, do we have time? How much time do we have left?
A few minutes.
Okay, I'll be quick. Do have to put my glasses on for this. All right. Oh my gosh, I flipped right to it.
Oh.
Obviously meant to be. Okay, so the persecution wound is a deep scar etched into the collective human psyche, shaped by the oppression, discrimination, and violence endured by marginalized groups throughout history. It carries the pain of being targeted simply for being different.
Mm-hmm.
Been the story of my life, I tell you. Oracle's message. And the reason why I was able to write about these is because I've experienced all of them. You are being called to heal the collective persecution wound and asked to educate yourself about the historical and systemic roots of persecution. Understanding this empowers you to dismantle its perpetration and will empower you to dismantle. Oop, I just read that twice, sorry. And help you advocate for more than just, help you advocate for a more just and compassionate world. I
Yeah.
realize I don't have my reading glasses on, and so these are helping a little bit, but not completely. So I'm just, oh, okay. Um, it is time to awaken the sacred divine feminine power within you by befriending your persecution wound in order to heal. And that really deepening into the sacred divine feminine has really helped me heal the persecution wound.
Mhm.
I won't read all of it because I think that'll take too long. There's quite a lot here. Part will I read? I'll read the, actually, I will read the shadow. I feel like the shadow is important. It's all important, but the persecution wound in shadow manifests as fear, mistrust, and hiding, leaving us feeling marginalized, powerless, and invalidated. The conscious or subconscious fear of being shamed or persecuted for our authenticity keeps us hiding in the shadows. And, I think this is such a big one for the divine feminine. I feel like on a global level, women are really rising up and we're stepping into our power I mean, we have been for a while, of course,
Mhm.
but in a big way, it's really happening right now because, in my opinion, the divine feminine is being persecuted again globally and politically. And so what's happening though, again, like the wound and turning that pain to power to passionate purpose, I don't know about you, Kim, but for me, it has stirred everything up like a cauldron stirring up in me. And I'm just rising up out of the ashes even stronger. I just did a feminine leadership summit with, 30 speakers on this topic, awaken the new feminine paradigm. Because it's like, don't you push us into the shadows. Let's watch us rise. And so, the betrayal wound is really a calling for us women to step into our passionate purpose and our power and rise up and make change in the world. So it's a very powerful card to get. So I'll read the other card that we get. And this is from Awaken the Oracle Within. The Oracle. That's good.
Oh,
Yeah, I love this card. So, when I first started doing Awaken the Oracle Within, I went online because I downloaded Awaken the Oracle Within as a name for my training, for my brand, my business, what I do. And I Googled it because I always do research, make sure I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes, make sure nobody else is using it, all that stuff. And yeah, this is about, I don't know, 7 years ago, maybe a little longer than 7 years. So I looked and there was nothing. However, there was a big company called Oracle, and it's a big company, I think, in the Silicon Valley, and it's like all digital. I don't even know exactly what it is and what they do, but I was like, wait, hang on. What? And I don't know about you, Kim, but certain words like ISIS, for example, and how that's been
yes,
misappropriatedly used,
yes.
that I rise up into my power even more. That wound there doesn't stop me. It actually makes me more powerful in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. Instead of being like kryptonite, it becomes like some sort of, I don't know, I'm unstoppable. I'm like, wait, what? No, I'm trademarking this. I've got to reclaim what Oracle means. And
Right.
so part of that is my advocacy and my like fighting spirit to say, do people know what Oracle really means? Like I need to teach
Mhm.
people about this. So yeah, it's an important part of my spiritual journey is because the oracles, I mean, they are powerful, powerful guides on the planet to bring wisdom, guidance. They are the lighthouses. They are the light keepers. They're the ones that are the truth tellers. But let me read this, what I've written for you. The oracle is a powerful conduit for divine guidance, offering insight that illuminates our path and nurtures spiritual growth. Throughout history, oracles have been known for developing profound wisdom and guidance to powerful leaders, serving as revered advisors and counselors whose insights have helped the course of nations. I mean, that is so powerful. And that is the power of the oracle. So the oracle's message, it is time to access a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. You're being guided to awaken your oracle within by accessing the wisdom that transcends your everyday experience. These experiences can help you tap into your intuition and the ability to connect with higher realms of your consciousness. This sacred practice invites you to embrace the messages from the universe, revealing truths that guide your spiritual awakening journey. And I'll read the wound this time for it. Wounds can emerge if you have been blamed or shamed for the gifts associated with being an oracle. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had divine, messages that come through, and I'm told very clearly that they need to be delivered, but that doesn't always go well.
No.
Right? And sometimes what needs to be said and what needs to be delivered, it upsets the apple cart and it creates change. But it's not always easy for the oracle. These wounds include inadequacy or fear of judgment when sharing their insights. The associated conditioning that discourages intuitive expression can leave you feeling isolated or unsupported, causing you to suppress your inherent gifts, and can leave you feeling disconnected from your authentic self. So those of you that are listening, a good affirmation, and you can come up with your own affirmation as well. I love affirmations. I trust the oracle's wisdom to guide my soul's alignment to my highest path. And, it's got the superpower in here. It's got triggers, because I believe that, within our triggers are found the treasures. And so anytime we get triggered, the treasure's sitting right there for us. And that could be a whole other topic, so I won't go into it.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, so if you're feeling like your spiritual abilities are something that has been shamed, just believe in yourself, trust yourself. And I run a whole training, 7-week training I've got coming up. I've been running it for about 7 years. I was running it in person here in New Zealand, but then when I moved to Sweden, I took everything online. And now I'm mostly online, but I'm starting to do in-person events as well. And that's been wonderful. I love in-person events. I love online too, because you could connect with people all over the world.
That's right.
But yeah, I really feel very passionate about helping people develop their gifts, because it is my belief that we all have a particular brand of magic, a life path purpose, gifts that we are here to bring to the world. And when we can heal those wounds and we can look into the shadow and we can alchemize that, then we become more and more potent, powerful forces for good. And then we can really create transformation and change on this planet. And I had this vision of all these light workers, and the light is shining and their chakras are all lined up. And, and this is the new earth. This is the new feminine paradigm, the new paradigm, whatever you want to call it. We are waking up. And the more of us that wake up and shine our light into the world, can you imagine? We will create heaven on earth, and we're already doing it in certain pockets, right? There's, that are lit up, and I see these like bubbles of light and pockets, these spiritual communities. But if we keep passing the torch and we keep lighting everyone up, then eventually my dream of a child will come true. Which my original dream, I was the little girl that sat on Santa's lap at a very young age, and I told Santa, he said, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, world peace. And he looked at me and he's like, world peace? And I said, yes. And he goes, don't you want a Barbie or something? And I said, no, I want world peace. He goes, my dear, that is a very tall order. And I looked at Santa, I was like horrified. Like, what do you mean I can't have world peace? And then I grew up and I realized that,
Yeah,
he was a man dressed in a Santa suit
exactly.
saying, that's a tall order, because it is. But at the same time, I really do believe it's possible with conversations like this.
Hmm.
And if we keep being the lighthouses in our life and we keep passing the torch and we keep doing what we're doing, all of us, I really believe that peace is possible. So thank you for having me
No.
on your show today. That's
Oh,
great. I
no,
love
thank
it.
you. It's been fascinating. I hadn't completely understood the wounds aspect. I mean, it's something that we talk about. We talk about shadow work, but I think you've just given this an extra layer of understanding of how the wounds can be transformed. And just, I mean, we endow ourselves with these wounds for a reason. And I mean, sometimes we stop there, don't we? We've got a wound and we don't necessarily do anything with it, but it's just been a good eye opener for me, or a good reminder for me that yes, something really positive, this superpower can come out of the wound. And I would love to carry on talking to you for a lot longer, but we have to wrap it up, unfortunately. So for people who want to connect with you and or get your oracle decks, where do they go?
Yeah, it's, you can see I'm just so excited about it. It's been my dream to create Oracle decks since I was 17 years old, and I'm
Wow,
now
they look
51.
beautiful. They look really beautiful.
Thank you. I'm working on my third one already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with a I'm collaborating with an art therapist, and it's going to be beautiful as well. So, but it won't be available for 2 years.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Right.
they take a long time to make. There's a lot that goes into them. But these are arriving right before Christmas. So exciting. I've already had my first wholesale order with Capricorn Spirits. They're going to be at Capricorn Spirit. And I've just got distribution here in New Zealand. So I'm just over the moon happy about
Wow.
that. Lots of people love them.
Hmm.
They're beautiful. They're high quality, and so I'm also doing a lot of mind, body, spirit events. Like I'm doing Barbara's mind, body, spirit event, and I'll have them there with me so people can look at them. People can get readings
And
with
order
me
them.
from
Yeah.
them.
Mm.
I'm doing a psychic tour right now, so I'm going to be at lots of different events this summer. But yeah, they will be available at when are they going to be here? Right before Christmas. So I'll have them, and I'm so excited. But they are available for pre-order right now. And if you
Right.
pre-order the decks now, you get a free 30-minute oracle reading with me. So it's very high value. I'm only going to be offering that for pre-orders. So once they are here, physically here,
Hmm.
that won't be available anymore. So, and the pre-orders are great for me because it's helping me pay for the shipping,
Yes,
because it is not cheap.
I can imagine. Yes.
Yeah. And you can pre-order from my website, www.schamethorsfield.com. And you can also pre-order on Etsy if you want, if you
Mm.
prefer that, either way. But they won't physically be at Capricorn Spirit until they actually physically arrive here. So that's gosh, what is it? The second week of November, I think. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't quote me on that because I am relying on the shipping company. So,
Yes.
yeah. But Capricorn Spirit is going to have a launch event for me as well when they're physically here. So we're going to celebrate, and I'll
Oh,
be
exciting.
letting people know about that. Yeah.
That's exciting. And just for people who are listening in the future, we are talking on the 30th of September 2025. So they will be here November 2025.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you
But
so
you can
much.
pre-order now and get the
Absolutely.
free
Go on to
session with
Shamet's
me. And you
website.
know what a lot of people are doing, Kim, because they can't choose which one they like better. And I'm like, I know the
Mm,
feeling. It's like a coin, heads and tails. You can't choose one or the other. You have to
yes.
get both.
Have
And
that
so a
both.
lot of people, or they get one and then a couple weeks later, I see they've ordered the other one.
Yes.
And if you order both, you get an hour with me, or you can split it up a half an hour and a half an hour, or you can get a full hour. So it is high value. And you know, my readings are very, very powerful and potent. So if you're struggling, you're having a hard time, you want some insight, you want some answers, or just some guidance, or if you just want to jump on there and have a little fun. Like
Mm,
I'm all about having a good time and making the spiritual journey really fun as well. So it won't be heavy and dark, even though we are going into the darkness. I'm really good at alchemizing the shadow in the wounds into light. And so if you are feeling really heavy, really like, ow, I'm really struggling, I can help guide you up out of that.
mm.
That's my
Right.
superpower.
Just superpower. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this. It has been absolutely fascinating. I will direct people towards your website, and good luck with the launch of the Oracle decks. They look absolutely wonderful. Thank you for your time. It's been great to
Thank,
speak to you.
thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. This is so much fun. And many blessings to each and every one of you out there. Also just real quick, at the last psychic event that I did, I had a woman come up and she says, my goodness, there's so much magic in your cards. I just had an experience with an owl, a real owl, a moorpork, coming into my house. And she shared with me all these pictures of this moorpork, and she ordered Wounds to Wisdom. Actually, she ordered both. And then the very next woman that came and got a reading from me saying the same thing. I was like, do you know each other? But she had an experience of a moorpork up in a tree. So she started showing me videos of this moorpork. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And so she bought Wounds to Wisdom. Then the next woman comes up and she takes off her sweatshirt, and she had an owl tattooed on one arm and butterflies on the other. And then I'm driving back from the event, and I was thinking about all the owls and like how they're all around me, and that the decks are speaking to people deeply. And then the truck in front of me, I kid you not, you just can't make this stuff up. There it says more pork, and it's got owls on it. A big, huge pickup truck. I took a photo of it. I was like, oh my goddess, what
Uh,
confirmation.
yeah.
Amazing. So
Mm,
yeah, I mean, again, just to say, when we're on our path, doing our soul path purpose work, everything falls into alignment and everything becomes magical. The mundane transforms to the magic. So I'll
mm.
leave you with that.
That's a really good place to end. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.